Amina never liked crowded markets, but as the sole breadwinner for her family, she had no choice. On that humid Saturday afternoon in Lagos, she fought her way through the bustling crowd, balancing her shopping bags. Her mother needed her medications, and her younger brother was due for new school supplies. The market was alive with shouts, laughter, and the pungent smell of dried fish mixed with ripe mangoes. Amid the chaos, Amina reached for the last crate of oranges. Her hand clashed with someone else's, a tall, sharply dressed man in a crisp white shirt. "Excuse me, I was here first," she snapped, glaring at him. "And I have been waiting for this crate for over 10 minutes, the man replied, his tone cold but calm. Amina didn't back down. "You don't look like someone who waits for anything. Why don't you take your flashy shoes and leave this for people who actually need it?" The man's eyes narrowed. "Flashy shoes? You don't even know me, and you're already making assumptions." As their argument escalated, the orange seller intervened, nervously splitting the crate between them. Amina stormed off, muttering about arrogant rich men who thought they owned the world. She didn't notice the man's lingering gaze as she disappeared into the crowd. Later that evening, Amina posted her frustration on a Reddit-style forum called Lagos Life. Her post titled "The Audacity of Lagos Men" quickly gained traction, with people chiming in about their own encounters with entitled strangers. It was cathartic for Amina, who didn't expect anything to come of it. Meanwhile, Musa sat in his car, scrolling through the same forum during his downtime. As he read the trending post, his irritation turned to surprise. He realized it was about him. "That woman," he muttered, shaking his head. "She has no idea who she's dealing with." 2 weeks later, Amina attended her friend Zainab's wedding reluctantly. Weddings weren't her thing, but Zainab had been like a sister to her. She wore a simple Ankara dress, contrasting sharply with the glamorous outfits around her. She had just reached for a cup of coffee when someone bumped into her, spilling the scalding liquid onto her dress. "Watch where you're going!" she exclaimed, looking up to see the same man from the market. "You again?" Musa said, equally stunned. Amina couldn't believe her bad luck. "Do you enjoy ruining people's lives? Or is it just me?" Musa sighed, handing her his handkerchief. "Look, I didn't mean to." "I don't need your pity or your handkerchief," she interrupted, storming off to clean up. Despite the rocky start, their paths crossed again at the buffet table. Zainab, sensing the tension, playfully introduced them as if they hadn't already met. "This is my brilliant friend, Amina," she said. "And this is Musa, my cousin. He just started a tech company." Amina raised an eyebrow. "Tech company? Let me guess. You overcharge for basic services." Musa chuckled, though his pride was slightly bruised. "And let me guess, you're a professional critic?" Their banter continued throughout the evening, much to Zainab's amusement. Despite herself, Amina couldn't deny Musa had a certain charm. Amina's return to the Lagos Life forum was a nightly ritual. She updated her followers about Market Guy, as she nicknamed Musa. Her posts were a mix of humor and frustration, painting him as the antagonist in her life. Unknown to her, Musa was an active member of the forum under the username Silent Observer. He followed her posts religiously, initially out of annoyance, but later out of curiosity. There was something about Amina's fiery personality that intrigued him. One night, she wrote, "I think I saw Market Guy again today. This time he tried to drown me in coffee. I swear, Lagos men are impossible." Musa couldn't resist replying, "Maybe Market Guy isn't so bad. Maybe he's just misunderstood." Amina responded quickly, "Are you defending him? You must be a Lagos man too." Musa smiled at his screen. He didn't reply, but he felt a strange connection with this anonymous woman who had no idea he was her so-called enemy. A week after the wedding, Amina attended a tech networking event as part of her side hustle as a freelance social media strategist. Though she preferred creative work, the event was an opportunity to pitch her skills to potential clients. She was midway through scanning the room when she spotted Musa, dressed impeccably in a dark blazer. Her first instinct was to avoid him, but their eyes locked before she could escape. To her surprise, Musa walked straight up to her. "Before you roll your eyes," he began, "I owe you an apology." Amina folded her arms. "For spilling coffee on me or stealing my oranges?" Musa chuckled nervously. "Both, actually. Look, I was rude that day at the market. I didn't realize you were going through so much." Amina raised an eyebrow. "What makes you think I was going through anything?" Musa hesitated. I've been reading your posts on Lagos Life." Her face froze. "You what?" Realizing his blunder, Musa quickly clarified. "Not intentionally. I didn't know it was you at first, but your stories kept popping up, and—" "You stalk me online?" Amina's voice rose, drawing the attention of nearby attendees. "No, no," Musa said, hands raised in defense. "I swear, it's not like that. I admire how honest you are." Amina stared at him, unsure whether to be flattered or furious. Before she could respond, Musa did something unexpected. He turned to the room and said loudly, "Excuse me, everyone. I owe this woman a very public apology for being an absolute jerk." The crowd quieted, murmurs spreading as all eyes turned to them. Amina's cheeks burned. "I met her in a market and treated her terribly," Musa continued, his voice steady. "Then I spilled coffee on her and made things worse. She doesn't deserve that, and I want to say I'm sorry." The room broke into applause. Amina, caught between embarrassment and grudging admiration, managed a small smile. "Well," she said when the clapping died down, "if nothing else, you know how to make an impression." Musa grinned. "Does that mean I'm forgiven?" "I'll think about it," she replied, walking away to hide her smirk. From a distance, Musa watched her go, feeling a strange sense of accomplishment. For the first time in a long while, he wasn't trying to impress anyone. Except her. The day after the networking event, Amina found herself rethinking Musa's public apology. Though she wasn't ready to forgive him completely, his boldness lingered in her mind. Meanwhile, her friends teased her mercilessly in their group chat. "You're telling me a fine, rich man apologized in front of everyone, and you still don't want to give him a chance," Zainab texted. "He's arrogant," Amina replied, though her argument felt weaker with each passing moment. To distract herself, Amina turned to Lagos Life. She scrolled aimlessly, but an ad for a dating app caught her attention. "Why not?" she muttered, downloading it on impulse. Within days, she matched with someone under the username TechieM, whose bio said, "Building the future, one code at a time." They clicked instantly, bonding over shared interests in music, literature, and their mutual love of suya. Amina found herself smiling at his messages late into the night. "Maybe all Lagos men aren't terrible after all," she joked in one message. "If only you knew how complicated we can be," Techiem replied. Meanwhile, Musa couldn't believe his luck. He had joined the app half-heartedly, but quickly realized he was chatting with Amina. Using a pseudonym, he decided to see if they could connect without the weight of their history. Things were going well until Amina suggested a coffee date. Musa panicked but agreed, hoping to reveal the truth in person. The date arrived, and Amina walked into the cafe, scanning the room for her mystery match. Her face fell when she saw Musa sitting at a corner table. "You've got to be kidding me," she said, stopping in her tracks. Musa stood, sheepish. "Amina, I can explain." "You catfished me?" Her voice was sharp, drawing stares from nearby patrons. "It's not like that," Musa insisted. "I didn't know it was you at first, and when I realized, I thought maybe we could start fresh." "You thought lying was a good start?" Amina grabbed her bag and stormed out, leaving Musa to sit alone, feeling the sting of his miscalculation. Amina stared at the bouquet for a long moment before shoving it aside. "Flowers don't solve everything," she muttered, but she kept the note. Across town, Musa faced an entirely different set of challenges. His mother, Madame Kafayat, had caught wind of his growing interest in Amina. Over dinner one evening, she confronted him in her usual no-nonsense tone. "Who is this girl you've been running after?" she asked, cutting into her grilled fish. "She's smart, hardworking, and honest," Musa replied. "Everything I could ask for in a partner." Kafayat's expression hardened. "And what family does she come from?" Musa set his fork down. "Does that really matter?" "It does. You're the face of our family name, Musa. You need someone who will complement our reputation, not drag it down." Musa clenched his jaw but said nothing. His mother's words stung more than he wanted to admit. Later that night, Kafayat took things further by digging into Amina's background. Armed with her findings, she shared her concerns with Musa's father, who remained neutral but hinted at their expectations. The next day, Musa's sister Fatima sent him a link to a Lagos Life thread. "Your mother's at it again," her text read. When Musa opened the link, his heart sank. A fake account had posted a thread titled, "Should a successful man settle for less?" The post heavily implied that Musa was dating someone beneath him, sparking heated debates among users. Musa was furious. He immediately called his mother. "This is low, even for you," he said the moment she picked up. "I don't know what you're talking about," Kafayat replied, feigning innocence. "You can't control who I love," Musa said firmly before ending the call. That evening, he sent Amina a text. "Can we talk?" Amina replied hours later, "Not ready yet." Musa sighed, staring at his phone. Winning her back was going to take more than flowers or notes. It was going to take a fight. While Amina distanced herself from Musa, she turned to Lagos Life for clarity. She started a thread titled, "When a guy won't take no for an answer, what now?" She didn't name names, but described her situation in detail. The replies were split. Some users sympathized with her, while others questioned whether she was being too harsh. One user, Silent Observer, unbeknownst to her, Musa himself, stood out with their thoughtful responses. Silent Observer: "Sometimes people make mistakes because they don't know how else to express their feelings. It's not about manipulation, it's about clumsiness. Maybe he deserves a second chance, but only if he shows he's willing to grow." Amina found herself considering the advice, though she didn't know it. Musa felt a flicker of hope that she might let her guard down. Meanwhile, Zainab invited Amina over for dinner, determined to mediate. "You're too stubborn for your own good," Zainab said, passing her a plate of jollof rice. "And you're too quick to forgive people," Amina shot back. Zainab smirked. "Sometimes stubbornness gets in the way of something good. Musa's not perfect, but he's trying. That has to count for something." Amina didn't reply, but Zainab's words echoed in her mind long after the meal ended. Back at home, she reread Silent Observer's comment and typed a tentative reply. "What if I'm scared he'll mess up again?" The anonymous ally replied within minutes. "Then tell him that, if he's serious, he'll prove you wrong." After weeks of silence, Amina finally agreed to meet Musa for dinner. One chance, she told herself, just to see if he's serious. Musa chose an upscale restaurant in Victoria Island, wanting to make a good impression. Amina arrived in a stunning blue dress, her hair in a neat bun. Musa couldn't take his eyes off her as she approached the table. "You look amazing," he said, standing to pull out her chair. Amina smiled politely. "Don't get too comfortable. I'm still deciding if I even like you." The evening started well. Musa was attentive, genuinely curious about her work and dreams. For a moment, Amina thought she might have misjudged him. Then, disaster struck. As they were waiting for dessert, a woman approached their table. Musa's face froze. "Hello, Musa," the woman said with a smirk. "Natasha," he replied, his voice strained. "And who's this?" Natasha asked, eyeing Amina like a predator sizing up prey. "I'm Amina," she said coolly. "And you are?" Natasha leaned closer. "I'm his ex-fiancé. Surprised he didn't mention me." Amina's heart dropped. She turned to Musa, who was visibly uncomfortable. "It's not what you think," he began, but Amina was already rising from her seat. "Enjoy your evening," she said, walking out of the restaurant, her head held high. Musa caught up with her outside. "Amina, wait! She's lying. I broke it off months ago. She just won't let go." Amina stopped, her expression unreadable. "You told me you wanted a fresh start. Looks like you're still dragging your baggage along." She hailed a cab and left Musa standing on the curb, frustrated and alone. The next day, a picture of Amina and Musa at the restaurant surfaced online. It quickly went viral, with captions like, "Musa Bello's new mystery woman." Amina woke up to dozens of messages from friends and colleagues. Some were supportive, while others questioned her judgment. "Are you dating a billionaire now?" her brother teased over breakfast. "Mind your business," she snapped, deleting yet another notification. Musa wasn't faring much better. His phone buzzed constantly with calls from family members and business associates. "This is why I told you to be careful," his mother scolded. "Your private life shouldn't be public property." By noon, Amina's name was trending on social media. People speculated about her background, her motives, and her relationship with Musa. Furious, she posted a lengthy statement on Lagos Life. "I'm not defined by who I date. Judge me for my work, not my personal life." The post received mixed reactions, but it gave Amina some relief. Musa meanwhile called her. "Can we meet and talk?" "I don't think so," she replied. "Your life is too messy for me." "Amina, please," he pleaded. "I'll fix this, just give me time." She hung up, unsure if she believed him. While Amina tried to focus on work, her Lagos Life thread was flooded with trolls. Anonymous accounts accused her of being a gold digger, while others defended her. Musa saw the comments and felt a wave of guilt. He created his own thread, "The Truth About My Relationship Drama." In the post, he admitted to mishandling the situation with Natasha and defended Amina's character. He wrote, "She's one of the most genuine people I've ever met. If anyone's to blame, it's me." The thread went viral, sparking debates, but also earning Musa unexpected praise. Amina saw the post and felt a flicker of hope. Amina agreed to meet Musa again, this time in a quiet park. They sat on a bench, the evening breeze cool against their skin. "I didn't grow up with much," Amina began. "My father left us when I was 10. My mom worked 2 jobs just to keep us afloat." Musa listened intently as she continued. "That's why I'm so protective of my independence," she said. "I've worked hard to build something for myself. I can't let anyone take that away." Musa nodded. "I understand. My family expects perfection from me, but I've made mistakes, big ones, like letting Natasha manipulate me." They talked for hours, sharing their fears and dreams. By the end, Amina felt like she was finally seeing the real Musa. Musa's confession came a week later. They were having dinner at his apartment when he said, "There's something you need to know." He told her about a failed business deal that had cost a close friend his savings. "It was my fault," he admitted. "I was too ambitious and didn't think it through." Amina was quiet for a moment. "Have you made it right?" "I've tried," Musa said, "but some mistakes leave scars." Amina respected his honesty, but she couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. Amina couldn't stop thinking about Musa's confession. She appreciated his vulnerability, but part of her worried about what other secrets he might be hiding. Her trust issues flared up, and she withdrew slightly, focusing on her work. Meanwhile, Musa sensed her hesitation and doubled his efforts to win her over. He showed up unannounced at her office one day, surprising her with lunch. "I figured you could use a break," he said with a smile. "Thanks," Amina replied, caught off guard. "But you don't have to keep trying so hard." "I want to," Musa said earnestly. "You're worth it." Amina's mother, Mariam, had been curious about the man her daughter kept mentioning in passing. When Musa offered to meet her family, Amina hesitated. "They're protective," she warned. "I'm ready," Musa replied confidently. The family dinner was awkward at first, with Mariam eyeing Musa skeptically. But Musa's charm won her over, especially when he shared stories about his upbringing and respect for family values. Even Amina's younger brother, Suli, warmed up to him. "He's all right," Sul declared after dinner. For the first time, Amina allowed herself to imagine a future with Musa. Just as things seemed to be stabilizing, Natasha reappeared. This time, she sent Amina an email with photos of herself and Musa from their engagement days. Amina confronted Musa immediately. "Why is she still in your life?" "She's not," Musa insisted. "She's doing this to get between us. Please don't let her win." Amina wanted to believe him, but the situation reminded her too much of her father's betrayals. Unable to shake her insecurities, Amina told Musa they needed to take a break. "I can't keep wondering if I'm making the right decision," she said. Musa was devastated but respected her wishes. He focused on work and avoided social media, hoping time would heal the rift between them. Amina, meanwhile, threw herself into her projects, trying to convince herself she'd made the right choice. One night, Amina's curiosity got the better of her, and she revisited the Lagos Life forums. She noticed Silent Observer had gone quiet. On a whim, she messaged the account. "Why did you stop posting?" The reply came quickly. "Because I'm trying to give you space." Amina froze. "Musa?" she whispered to herself. The realization hit her like a wave. Musa had been her anonymous confidant all along. Amina confronted Musa the next day. "Why didn't you tell me you were Silent Observer?" "I didn't want to scare you away," Musa admitted. "I wanted to understand you without the arguments getting in the way." Amina's anger softened as she realized how much effort he'd put into understanding her. "It's a little creepy," she said, "but also kind of sweet." They decided to start over, taking things slow. Musa surprised Amina by helping organize a fundraiser for a cause she cared deeply about, providing school supplies for underprivileged children. Watching him interact with the kids, Amina felt her heart swell. Maybe he was worth the risk after all. Musa's family remained a point of contention. His mother continued to disapprove of Amina, and the tension spilled over during a family gathering. "You need someone who fits into our world," Kafayat said bluntly. "I need someone who makes me happy," Musa retorted. The argument drove a wedge between Musa and his mother, but he refused to back down. Mariam Kama, on the other hand, grew fond of Musa. She told Amina, "He's not perfect, but he's trying. Don't let your fears ruin something good." Amina took her mother's advice to heart, realizing she had been holding on to too much resentment from the past. Natasha made one last attempt to sabotage their relationship by leaking private details about Musa's failed business deal. The story went viral, and Musa faced public backlash. Amina stood by him, releasing a statement of support that surprised even Musa. "Why are you doing this?" he asked. "Because I believe in you," she said simply. The public criticism eventually faded, but the ordeal brought Musa and Amina closer. They realized they were stronger as a team than they were apart. Musa began planning a proposal, enlisting Zainab's help. He wanted it to be perfect, a blend of simplicity and meaning. Musa proposed during a quiet dinner at Amina's favorite spot, a small beachfront restaurant. He knelt with a ring and said, "I want to build a life with you. Will you let me?" Tears filled Amina's eyes as she said yes. Planning the wedding brought its own set of challenges, especially with Musa's mother still lukewarm toward Amina. But Miriam's presence balanced things out, offering Amina the support she needed. Musa surprised Amina with a trip to Zanzibar, where they spent 2 weeks reconnecting and dreaming about their future. Back in Lagos, Amina and Musa focused on building their life together. They started a joint initiative to mentor young entrepreneurs, combining their skills and passions. Years later, they reflected on their journey, grateful for the struggles that had made their love stronger. Amina wrote a final post on Lagos Life. "Sometimes love isn't easy, but it's worth fighting for." Here's to every awkward coffee date, every argument, and every moment that brought us here. The post went viral, inspiring countless others to hold on to love, even when it seemed impossible. Thanks for watching this video till the end. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to comment. See you next time, bye.